Hey clay friends, welcome to Pennington Design Pottery. I'm Amy Pennington, the potter, and today we are going to be unloading another kiln. So let's get started. All right, so in this kiln load, I have a lot of stuff for an upcoming street fair that I'm going to be attending in July, as well as a couple of custom pieces towards the bottom. So at the top, I'm seeing lots of pieces for the street fair, and these ones I did dipped. Sometimes I brush glazes and sometimes I dip them, just depending on what I'm going for. And I did a half dip on these. So I have half of it dipped in the speckled birch, and then I dip the whole thing in the classic white, which turns out super pretty. And so I've got a good set of these. I think I've got 6 here. And these are the snack bowls, so perfect size for, chips, ice cream, things like that. And I've also got some in blush. I've got 2 up top here, and this is the blush, which just comes out super reliable and pretty. Got a couple of mini bowls tucked in there, and this is the black copper glaze. Next up, we've got mugs, and I tried to make a good amount of mugs because they kind of fly off the shelves at in-person street fairs and things like that. So I wanted to make sure I had a good supply. So I did some with the half dip, dunking it first in that speckled birch and then all the way in the classic white. And then I do have a couple of classic white ones as well, which are just so glossy and nice and beautiful. Loving it. And I've got another one of those half dips. And then I had a bisque vase that was lying around, so I decided to glaze this up as well to take it with me to the Arlington Street Fair. So she turned out super pretty. I'd love to display this with some florals in it, some market florals. Oh yeah, she's pretty. All right, next level here, and we've got more mugs. Like I said, there's going to be quite a few. These ones are on the brown clay, which I don't really use anymore, but I had a few lying around in bisque that I hadn't glazed yet. So in trying to stock up on mugs, thought this would be a good time to get those glazed up. All right, so I've got more of the half dips with the white stoneware, and if you see any little bits like that, that's just little pieces of the kiln wash from the shelves, and those just get picked off super easy, so no worries about that. But nice looking foot. And so white stoneware, and then we've got 2 more with the brown clay. And for a fun pop of color, I did these ones with the new daffodil yellow glaze, and then I did blush on the inside. So super cute, fun, colorful set. If you have watched previous videos, you will probably have seen the kiln unloading where I introduced you to Sherry the sheep, and she will be going with me to Flock Fiber Festival in August. And I have been making a serious little flock of Sherry the sheeps, and so I have more here, and I will get these out and show you some up close. And these are a labor of love. I throw each mug, handle them, and then start making the little Sherry the sheeps. So I form her face first, and then I actually use a garlic extruder, a little garlic press for the hair, which was a suggestion from one of you YouTube clay friends. Thank you so much, because that has saved so much time not having to roll out each individual hair, like so much time. So then I will make each of the little flowers, attach those, and there we have Sherry the sheep. She gets bisque fired and then glazed. And she's got that daffodil yellow on the inside as well. And just so stinking cute. Next up, I've got a couple of test tiles. So I use shot glasses thrown off the hump as my test tiles. I love it because I'm able to see how glazes pool on the inside, gives me a good amount of surface area. I can see how it breaks over rims, things like that. So I love it. This is the Seattle Pottery Supply C-Mix 6 speckled clay. And I use an underglaze pen on the bottom to write what the glaze is. And then these ones were little testers. So I forget the name of this glaze. And then this one is actually that same daffodil yellow, but on the C-Mix 6 speckled. And I added some extra speckles to them. So I kind of crushed up this speckle and had a finer powder that I added to it. And then these are the larger crystals that you would find on the speckled birch. So just sifted out of that glaze, and I sometimes add it to other stuff. So just experimenting, kind of wanted to see what it would look like. Definitely don't love them, but you don't know until you try. This set sold super quickly at a pop-up shop that I did. And so I did another one in speckled birch. And these are candle tapers. And these bubble looks are just so cute. I know I use that word a lot. I need to find another word. But how else can you describe these? They're cute. All right, so speaking of bubble, we've got a new form, bubble vases, and I'm in love. So this was the prototype, which I had 3 lumps on. It wasn't as tall. I wanted it more tall and slender versus short and stout. So I did another one and I love it. These bubble vases I know are going to be a hit. And I did some also in the classic white. And then I've got one here in the blush. And I brushed the blush glaze on the outside. And then when it came to the inside, I was kind of stumped as to how I was going to be able to brush it successfully. So I actually ended up just using a pitcher and dipping a pitcher full of my white glaze and pouring that on the inside and then dumping it out. So that seems to have worked, but loving the new bubble vases. Next up is one of my favorite color combos for mugs, which is the Stilly River glaze on the outside, a super pretty dusty blue color that kind of breaks brown over the edges where it's a little bit thin, or up here on the rim. And then I've got the speckled birch on the inside. And Stilly River is actually the name of one of the local rivers here in my town. And so thought that we definitely needed some Stilly River mugs for the upcoming Arlington Street Fair. You're about to see lots more mugs, blush on the outside, speckled birch on the inside. And yes, you will see lots of speckled birch because it seems to be just about everyone's favorite. And so I've got some on the inside, some on the outside. This is that same Stilly River on the inside, and then the speckled on the outside, which is also super pretty. Then I've got another reverse combo, which has the blush on the inside with the speckle on the outside. And I love making some little like his and hers sets with the opposite color combos. So definitely try to have some of those opposite color combos when going to things like street fairs and festivals, because people do love being able to kind of mix and match them, but still have some cohesion. I've also got one with the daffodil yellow on the inside, and then I've got black copper, and that's a set of 2, which turned out super pretty. Got some movement there on that black copper glaze, which is just super pretty. Loving it. And some more snack bowls. These have the blush with the speckled and the reverse. And these, again, just a super great size. People love making mix and match sets out of these, as well as the mini bowls too. Just a fun little pop of color, yet still subtle. Next up is an item that you've seen here before. You would have seen it last year. So these are last year's flock fiber mugs, and I made them, sold them, have had a couple of cracks recently. And so because it's within that like year time frame, I want to make sure that my customers are taken care of. And I'm thinking it has something to do with the thermal expansion rate of the clay, or excuse me, of the glaze on the inside versus the thermal expansion rate of the glaze on the outside. So I have switched up the maker of the glaze that I'm using for the white. So hopefully we won't have that same problem, but they basically just cracked. Just out of nowhere, they just cracked. Big crack. So I wanted to remake them for them. So these are the mugs that I'm talking about. They were hand thrown, and then I rolled out a slab just by hand, not using my slab roller, and kind of used my fingers to indent the clay there a little bit to give it some texture, and then made the little hand-built flowers around it. So again, wanted to make sure that people are taken care of when they buy my pottery. It should be something that lasts for a long time. And this was definitely something that was not right with the glazes. So we have switched it up and we'll get these to their rightful owners. Okay, so I have one item left, and I'm not sure if I'm saving the best for last or if I've just been nervous and kept it for last. But at the bottom here, I've got another memorial piece. So I recently uploaded a video of some memorial pieces that I did, including a vase for a mother who lost her baby to SIDS, as well as a mug that had a dog on it for someone in our church who recently lost their dog. And when someone else from my church saw that mug, she said she started crying, wanted a mug to represent her dog, Sophie, which passed away, I think about a year ago. And so I have another memorial mug, and here we go. Yes, she turned out, oh good. So, like I said, her name is Sophie. She was a miniature Cocker Spaniel and just had the cutest curly ears. So I used, again, that garlic extruder to get those curls, and then did some hand-built flowers on there around side of her name. So, and then I've got the classic white on the inside. So I am super happy with this mug. It has been so nice making these memorial pieces. Just being able to make a piece once versus, as much as I love making mugs and snack bowls and mini bowls, when you do it hundreds of times, it can get a little redundant. So being able to slow down and make a mug that's just going to be for one special person will hopefully bring them a lot of joy, has brought me in turn a lot of joy. So that is it for today's kiln unloading, and I hope that you've liked it. If so, give it a thumbs up.